You are welcome to my channel. In this video, I will be giving 7 tips on how to make 300 plus in Jamb within a month. If you're watching this video before 2022 Jamb is taken, it means it is exactly 1 month to the exams. And I encourage you that with these tips, it is not too late. You can still make it in your Jamb if you start studying hard now and with determination. For those of you that will watch this video after 2022 Jamb, I encourage you to always start studying early. It is very important that you start studying early. These tips I'm going to be giving will vary depending on the ability of the individual. Now, if you are a fast learner, you may be able to do much, and if you're somebody who learns slowly, you will still be able to achieve using this method. Just look inward, look at your ability and what you can do, and follow the tips I'm going to give, and the achievement may vary. It will not be exactly the same depending on how you take it. Now, tip number 1, compose yourself. Why I say compose yourself is because you know you are going to take Jamb in the next 1 month, and then you pick up Jamb past question papers. Now, when you go through the first 10 questions, you realize that it is only 3 questions, and some of you may not even be able to answer 2 out of 10. You notice that when it's like that, you may be destabilized. I want you not to think that you cannot do it. Now, when you notice something like that, it is time for you to sit up. It is time for you to wake up and pull yourself together. You can do it. All you need to do is to start to study. Study hard for your exams. Don't allow you not being able to have at least 7 or 8 in the first 10 questions you're trying to answer in past Jamb question to discourage you. No, that should not be a discouragement. That should not discourage you. That should be the reason why you have to wake up and start preparing for your exams very well. Tip number 2, do away with distractions. As teenagers, there are a lot of things to distract you, especially your phone, social media. For this period, put away everything that will make you not to be focused. Friends that will not encourage you or help you, that period you should do away with them. Social media, Facebooking, when you're supposed to be studying, being on social media, you should do away with those things this period and face it squarely. After tip number 2, doing away with all distraction. Tip 3 is planning. How do you plan your work? How are you going to study? How will you read? When and how will you study? Now, it is very important that you plan your work. In Jamb, you're going to write 4 subjects. You're going to answer questions in 4 subjects. That is math, English, and other 2 subjects depending on what you want to study. So you have just 4. So it is even an advantage, and you're studying just 4. So you should be able to sit down and finish those 4 subjects. When you plan your work very well, putting at least 2 subjects every day, you don't give attention to one subject more than the other. Attention have to be given to the 4 subjects. The 4 subjects have to receive equal attention. You don't prefer one to the other. That's why when planning your work, you decide according to your ability. What will I read today? How many subjects will I read? I advise 2 subjects in a day. 2, 1 for morning, 1 for evening. Then the following day, you also do the same 2. You keep continuing two subjects. That way, you'll be able to achieve so much in the next 1 month. So, sit down, plan your work according to your ability. And always advise that early in the morning, subjects that will give you issues, subjects that you find difficult to do, when always arrange your work in such a way that those subjects will be the very first subject after resting. Subjects like maths that give issues to many people, those are the subjects you first of all study after you have rested enough. Like first thing in the morning, you put your maths. When your head is very cool, you start to study maths. Then you can arrange other subjects like chemistry, depending on the subject that you really like, the subject you prefer. And your abilities are different. There are people that even in the afternoon, hot sun, even when they are tired, they will still be doing well in maths, or they don't have issues with it, they can arrange it. But you that know that you have issues with it, put your subjects very well when you have finished resting, so that that time your head will be cool and calm for you to be able to, so that your head will be cool and calm for you to be able to understand every bit of what you're going to, every bit of what you will study. 4, increase your time of study. If you always study 2 hours, 2 hours in a day will not be enough for you to be able to meet up with the workload you have before you write Jamb in the next 1 month. So you have to increase your time of study. Plan yourself, give yourself enough time. You know your ability, how long you are able to read. When you know that you are tired, you can have a break, rest and come back. You need to really study hard and for longer period. This 1 month, that is almost time for Jamb, for you to be able to do it, for you to be able to do a lot. Tip 5, study hard using your syllabus and Jamb past question. Now, there is no much time again on your side, so your past question and your syllabus have to go alongside with you. You have to study together with them, studying your past question alongside as you are reading each topic. When you take the syllabus, look at the topics, follow them, look for those questions and study. It depends on how you will want to, the topics that are giving you issues, those ones that you know that you've not, or if you don't know them well or you were not taught, you can just glance through them, read them. You come back and use the past question and try to solve it. Look at the syllabus, what is required in that topic. But those ones that you know very well doesn't mean that you should neglect them. Continue practicing them using your past question and answer. Don't study this 1 month and leave your past question out. It is when you are studying early that you keep the past question aside and then face the studies first, then you come back to it. But this period, almost time for the exams, your past question is very, very important. And as you're studying, you need to develop your skills. Thinking skills have to be very active. Then your reasoning have to be very sharp, because as you are reading now, you don't expect to see exactly the same question you saw last year to come up this year, especially in mathematics. The question may come up, but maybe the numbers will be changed. You don't expect to see exactly, so you have to be very active in your reasoning. You know, because you saw the other question carried 25 and this one is carrying 40, and then you are lost. You don't know what to do. No, you should be able to reason it out that these questions are similar, only that the numbers is what is different in them. That is where you avoid cramming. You don't cram. You have to study understanding every bit of what you're reading, even as you're using that past question to answer questions. No cramming, you understand it. When you understand every bit of the question you are answering, you are reading. Now, when you see another question like that in another year, you'll be able to know this is this question, and you'll be able to follow that same step to answer the questions. For instance, you see that number on the screen. For instance, you may be given 3x minus 4 is greater than 8. You may see it in one question, and then in another year you saw somebody who crammed how to solve this, how to solve the first one, will run into confusion, will not know. But when you understand every bit of this work step by step, you'll be able to know that this is what I'm going to apply to be able to solve the second one. So you don't expect to see everything exactly the same. That's why you have to broaden your thinking. Your thinking have to be very sharp to be able to know the questions that you have seen before. Even though there's a little difference in it, you'll be able to apply it and answer. I'm taking mathematics as my example because my major is mathematics. It doesn't mean that you do not apply the same in other subjects. Every other subject you don't cram, it's just exactly you understand what you are reading. That way, when you see questions, even though there's a little change in the question, you'll be able to know that it is the same, even though there's a little bit difference. Tip number 6, your work this period should be what occupies your thoughts. Don't allow any distraction, like I said in the first one. Your thoughts right now should be your school work, should be your Jamb question, how you are going to pass, what you read. Even when you're lying down, you're resting, before sleep takes you, before you sleep off, it should be what you read, how you can remember what you studied, one topic or the other. You try to remember, and if you notice that at the point you can't remember one thing, quickly check that thing. That is very, very effective. And that thing that you go and check, you will always remember it. So your thoughts, your mind should be your work. Apart from God alone, your thoughts should be occupied with your work and only God. Nothing else should take your thoughts. God and your work. Believe me, you really need God in this. You really need God this time to be of help to you. So your thoughts should be filled with God and your work. Ask the Holy Spirit to help you to remember what you read. Ask Him to help you ask Him to help you to even read where the questions will come from. I tell you, it works a lot. So your thought should be your work and God alone. Don't allow any other distraction to come into your mind and thoughts. Remember, if you work very hard, you won't have to stay extra here in the house. But when you are relaxed, and then you may have to spend more years writing another one again. It doesn't make sense. So work hard now, so that by the time the result comes out, you'll be happy. Tip number 7, eat well and rest well. Now, it doesn't mean that because you have exams in the next 1 month, you will not give yourself proper rest, you will not sleep. You to be able to always remember and to do much work every day, you need a good night rest. You need to rest very well. And to also remember, it is not really easy to study. It is a very big task to study. So yourself, your body has to be taken care of, giving your body rest and feeding very well. Thank you for watching. Bye.